interaction. And today the esteemed panel comprises of seasoned entrepreneur come business people who have seen it all, as well as relatively younger people, and also at the interface of doing academics, research, and startup and innovation. So without further delay, let me invite our chair for today, Dr. S. Manjini. Request you to kindly grace the dais, please. He is from JSW Bellary. Our four panelists for this session are Dr. Siddharth Mishra from Tata Steel Jamshedpur, Shri V.G. Rajendran from Entelus Chennai, Dr. Vikram Vishal from IIT Bombay, who is the founder of Urjanove Private Limited, Dr. Nishan Dongari from IIT Hyderabad, founder of Pure EV. And with this, I hand over the session to our session chair, moderator, Shri S. Manjini, please.
Good afternoon. Today, we are here to discuss about we are going to hear from the people who have started the startups in the materials industry. See, most of the startups, if you see in the past, are coming from the service industry. It's more easier to do, have a startup in a service industry. You need fairly less investment in terms of our equipment and machineries. So there you can see that a lot of startups come in the industry like IT field. Even in the modeling, you see that digital twins in terms of, so most of them are all in the service industry, so even the supplies or logistics. You hear very few startups in the field of material science, leave on the process industries. That's a long way to go. Here we have 3 startups. We would dare to take into the material science, and we have one seasoned scientist from Tata Steel. I would request the panelists to introduce themselves, starting with Dr. Mishra.
Thank you, Dr. Manjini. My name is Siddharth Mishra. I'm a metallurgist by background, and actually a practicing metallurgist, to be precise. I've been in the industry for 20 years now. 15 of that has been with Tata Steel. Anything else? Or for the session, you mean, or in general? Oh, okay. So I'm looking at the research activities at Tata Steel, specifically in the process side, so which is inclusive of raw material all the way to steel making. And sustainability obviously forms a big chunk of my responsibility. So that's briefly about me. Thanks.
Thanks, Professor Mudrika and IIT Hyderabad for inviting me to this session. So just to give a brief intro, myself, Dr. Nishan Dongari. I've been faculty at IIT Hyderabad since 2013 and became I would say, accidental entrepreneur in 2018-19. Founded a startup called Pure Energy in 2019, along with my old hostel mate from IIT Bombay, campus days. I did my graduation from IIT Bombay. And what we started as a small lab kind of project in IIT Hyderabad. Today, I would say, so in the battery segment or the electric vehicle segment, the startup has become a leading market player, not just in India. And we are proud to say that, we are doing exports to Southeast Asia, Middle East, and North Africa as well. And so, of course, it's very honored to be here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vikram Vishal, and I'm a professor at IIT Bombay, but I'm also, like Nishan said, accidental startup founder. Sort of, in some say, compelled to kind of launch our own startup because the technology that we innovated we were hardly finding buyers at that point in time. So we decided, let's nurture and make it a little bigger, accelerate the technology readiness level, so it's at a level where the industries can actually see and continue to get support this kind of technology. So we work on decarbonization, so carbon dioxide capture, conversion, and storage. Carbon dioxide converted into calcium carbonate is the product which is at TRL7 right now, and we are setting up small pilot plants of small values, like a few tons per day, but we have full blueprint for 200 tons per day CO2 capture and conversion to different chemicals, working alongside many industries, along with my co-founder, Professor Arnab, who is also here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is V.G. Rajendran. I represent Entellus Industries Limited from Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu. Thanks to Dr. S.K. Jha, ex-CMD of Midani, who has invited me to participate here in this, and thanks to Dr. B.S. Murthy and Bhanushankar Rao and IIM and IIT Hyderabad as well. We are into critical materials manufacturing. Today, the talk of the industry is where is the rare earth permanent magnet? When will India have this? Why China is controlling this much? All those. We are a startup company. We started as early as in our conceptualization in 2018, and we formed our company in 2022. And in 2023, December, we have the neodymium, praseodymium metal manufactured at a commercial scale and proven globally. And further in 2025, January, we have also manufactured NdFeB alloy for getting into as a raw material of magnet, rare earth permanent magnet. If I can request the chair to play a video of our company, that will be great for introduction. So this is our factory, which is located in a national highway towards Kodaikanal from Tiruchirappalli. We have 6 acres land. We have built our metal plant and alloy plant. These are all molten salt electrolysis furnaces, which reduces oxide from the oxide, and we can produce 99.95% purity of metal. Currently, we have 360 tons per annum capacity, which can cater to 1,000 tons of magnet. Today, India's demand is about 4,000 tons of rare earth magnets, of which 1/4 capacity we already have. We have sophisticated optical emission spectrometers and carbon sulfur apparatus. And this is completely automated, integrated melt spinning operation, vacuum induction melting, which is poured into thin strips. The NdFeB alloy is converted into strips. This strip is the raw material for sintered magnet, the picture what you are seeing. This is for bonded magnet. There are 2 types of magnets, sintered magnet and bonded magnet. We have capability to produce both. And once the strip is formed, for bonded magnet, we also do the heat treatment and powdering of these strips. It's blended and packed. So globally, we are the one of the largest capacity currently we have. Outside China, there are people in UK, Estonia, USA, all are having less than 100 tons per annum capacity. We are in India as rare earth metal and alloy manufacturers. We currently have up to 600 tons of NdFeB alloy manufacturing capacity, and we are geared up for going forward towards the magnet manufacturing. With this introduction, I hand over the mic to Chair.
thank you for your introductions. Um, one commonality you can find among the startups are they are all working on the energy materials or environment or energy related field. When we say that environment, like you said, that carbon emission is the major talk as of now, and there are ways, there are a lot of research going on into reducing the carbon emission, then capturing the carbon which is emitted and converting to them, which one of the startups are doing. Now, from one of the industries which generates the most CO2, I would ask Dr. Mishra about what are the actions being taken to reduce the carbon emission or capture, and how this kind of startups can help in reducing, because when it comes to a larger industry, there are, of course, they are working on various technologies, but most of the technologies are yet to evolve. These are the startups are the one which, like you said, they take the technology from TRL level to 7 to 8 and then to the commercial level, which can be scaled up on a larger scale. So your comment, Dr. Mishra.
Yeah, so we are an industry which is not seen very friendly as far as CO2 emissions are concerned. Tata Steel, for instance, we are responsible for over 50 million tons of CO2 emissions per year. That's a big number by any stretch of imagination. And we have targets to bring down, achieve net zero by 2045, which is Tata Group's initiative, Alingana, targets given to us. There could be multiple approaches to do that, and what we believe is there are three major levers which we try to adopt. One is going for carbon direct avoidance, where we try to replace something which is an equivalent fuel than carbon. And that could be other reducing gases, for instance. It could be a combination of hydrogen or hydrogen-rich species. It could be syngas, which can be from our own off gases. So that's taking some attempts at trying to bring circularity in our emissions itself. Other approach is how can we be more efficient in our processes itself. So we have multiple operating locations. One location may be better than the other as far as process efficiency is concerned, as far as emissions are concerned. So can we do some lateral deployment of best practices so that we at least become inward more capable and more efficient. And the third approach obviously is on if you emit carbon, what do you do with that? And that's where carbon capture and utilization comes into play and sequestration comes into play. That obviously will require a lot of technological inputs, a lot of breakthroughs through startup innovations, and something as a stroke of love where we want to sequester, let's say, CO2. We need to have the right locations where sequestration can be done. It could be our mine locations, it could be offshore applications. So those are the three major avenues which we see as far as decarbonization strategies are concerned. And Tata Steel is foraying into all these three. If you ask, how do we integrate with startups? So see, steel industry we call ourselves very, forward-looking industry and very technologically savvy. And we adopt things which are very, in today's situations, ready to adopt. But that being said, we are still very conservative. For us, anything which is proven for at least few years only comes into our production supply chain. So we don't want to take chances because there's a lot of risks involved, and you're talking about millions and millions in terms of production. So that's where we look up to startups to take that initial leap of faith, that initial jump in terms of coming up with something and a breakthrough capacity. So they are doing something at low TRL levels from maybe 2 to 4 or 5 maybe, and we are looking at something which is 7 or 8. So that the gap in between has to be filled by someone. So that's a challenge which I see in terms of adopting something which is futuristic, and how does it come to lateral deployment on a commercial level.
I would request Mr. Vishal.
Thank you. A part of my introduction is also that I am a former Tata Steel. After my education at IIT Bombay, I had a campus placement and joined there, worked in Jamshedpur and in Noida Mundi before I moved back for a PhD. So very rightly put, India's steel capacity may be around 155 million tons, and I think earlier this year the minister announced 330 million tons by 2030, which is a very ambitious target. So we understand that retrofitting existing facilities to decarbonize through CCUS may be difficult, but when we talk about new plants to be projected, we have to actually have the emissions so that we produce steel which is 5-star rated, less than 1.8, 1.6 tons per ton of CO2 per ton of steel produced is the CO2. So we need to identify what are the technologies that go to that level. Now when we look at technologies, we can obviously go for electric arc furnaces, hydrogen plus DRI and so on paths. But if we look at the inevitable emissions in the process itself, what we give an example that iron ore which is mined is essentially Fe2O3 or Fe3O4. When we reduce and get the iron out of it, we actually release that oxygen, and that's largely carbon monoxide becoming carbon dioxide. So these are process-related emissions, very difficult to control because can clean up the grid and get cleaner energy, but that does not help the case of reduction of iron ore and not release the oxygen and get into carbon dioxide. So that's the process where CO2 capture and conversion becomes inevitable when we talk about net zero. Without CCS, net zero is difficult. Interestingly, since we are talking about the steel sector, I'll just add that the Ministry of Steel released the decarbonization roadmap. There were 14 verticals that worked on. Interestingly, I was chairing one of these sub-themes there. It comes out that at net zero for steel sector in 2070, 55% of the process, entire thing will have to be CCUS. So that's definitely gives a confidence that we have to work on this technology more. Now we also understand, as rightly said, when we talk about millions of tons of CO2 being captured, we cannot really make product which is still viable in the market. And then it has to put the genie back into the bottle. It's like send it back underground where it all came from. So capture and sequestration also becomes inevitable. Good thing is that India has a lot of CO2 storage potential also. So geologically speaking, subsurface. So IIT Bombay hosts the National Center of Excellence in CCUS. So I also head that center. So 22 faculty members working together across disciplines to come up with solutions on CCUS which the industries can take. And as we speak, we are also setting up a carbon capture plant for a steel company in central India, which is 5 tons per day. And for SAIL, we are done the entire study for 50 tons per day. And we are working very closely with Tata Steel also across the verticals. So clearly I see that there's a lot of interest, but as rightly said, jumping from early TRLs of 3, 4, 2, 8, 9, 7, and 8 needs that support for the value of death. And that's where, as academicians, we have a difficult time there, but industries are the ones who are chipping in and supporting us in that front. So I think more interaction with the industries is helping to translate. So in a nutshell, sir, the solutions, you rightly said, we are forecasting solutions which will be at scalable, but at the same time, there are some solutions which are finding a way to the market. Thank you.
That being about the carbon capture, now going to the sustainable materials, may I ask Dr. Nishant?
So coming to the sustainable materials, I would start more from a non-technical perspective from so not just from a startups or investors, even from a large-scale company's perspective. The word sustainability or impact, maybe 7 years back, 10 years back, I used to see on a footnote of a balance sheet or so I'm talking more from a finance angle actually. Now the sustainability and impact have become almost like a daily or weekly, monthly discussion, even among the finance department, CFOs of the large scale companies. I'm not just talking about startups or some R&D labs here. So this is how the country has transformed, in recognizing the importance of sustainability, sustainable materials, practices, sustainable components. And what I firmly believe is, so if the true meaning to the sustainable storage technologies or energy technologies or whatever the practices we call are the vehicles, automotive, non-automotive and everything. So the true sense really comes when we start really funding the middle science oriented startups actually, because so to be very frank and precise today, lot of private funding, because today most of the startups, including companies like Pure Energy, Pure EV, so we raise a lot of capital from VCs, PEs or family offices, both domestic and foreign. But the level of sensitivity is still, I would say, is missing among the lot of private investors. That means so somewhere, so this agility has to be created. And because here the patience capital is required when we talk about, in general in material science, even if it's something like old technology, things take 10 years, 15 years. But we are talking about smart materials, sustainable materials, new age materials. Because any segment you take today in the country, people talk about AI, electric vehicles, battery energy storage, new power electronics and everything. Metal science is the fundamental, like, so because if not today, even after 10 years, 15 years, definitely creating plans, policies is not becoming sufficient, because metal science kind of startups are, or whether we talk about the TRL lower level or mid-level, higher level, this needs, I would say, flurry of funding, like, unconditional kind of funding actually. I'm sure the country has the capability. And so this is where the shift has just started. I wouldn't say, like, we are able to see large amount of money being flooded into the engineering and metal science companies, but definitely the shift has started. And that is where the sensitization from government side and non-government side is very, very critical, because so that, like, we become a true alternative to China. Like, so what we have achieved in the last 10 years, the way I see as an entrepreneur, and as a faculty also has worked in DRDO and ISRO and within IIT Hyderabad. So what shift I have changed is, like, a lot of good engineering, great engineering companies have come in the last 10 years. Great engineering companies. But I think now the time has come, what China has done in the last 30 years to the world. I think the capability, talent is there, but it's all about, like, flooding the cash, I would say, because I'm now talking like an entrepreneur language, not like a scientist language. You have to really flood the money. Like, a lot of unconditional, unasked question kind of money has to be pumped in. And the planning has to be it cannot be annual or, like, sometimes 2 years, 5 years. That is not sufficient. Like, the planning has to be done more from a 10 years, 15 years, 20 years context, because that is when the young talent, the passionate talent will really get ignited. Like, so let's say whenever we are being discussing about, like, lithium-ion cell manufacturing, anode, cathode, active. I was just discussing with Professor Chandra also, where I met few companies from US and Taiwan, where they're manufacturing cathode active materials for the solid-state materials actually. The main difference is not the capability of the talent. The main difference is, like, they get the shells, they get the clean rooms, they get, when I say seed money, like, it's in the tune of, like, ranging from 10 million to 100 million. Even failure is being respected, like, and that is something we have to really learn. Like, see, metal science is not some software or SaaS startup or, like, that, where the failure can be mocked or this kind of thing. So because here the failure rate can go up to 80%, 90% also. And that is where the real learning to the same startup or the other ecosystem comes actually. So culturally also, as an ecosystem of the startup, as well as, like, the overall funding scenario. So somewhere this shift has to get changed. Like, so the 5 years, 10 years kind of strategy won't work if really want to become a leapfrog kind of economy in the smart materials and next generation materials actually. Because country is talking about AI, like, how do you get the, like, silicon or silicon photonics? We are talking about solar industry. Where do you get the ingots? We are talking about EVs and energy storage. Where do you get the anodes and cathodes and separators actually? So I believe in this direction really we have to think. The talent is there. The shift is just gears are getting changed, but a lot of acceleration is required.
Thank you, Dr. Nishant. Now, we had this ATM started with the International Conference on the Critical Minerals. There are a lot of talks which are on the recovery of critical minerals from waste and other things. But we have here a startup which is already working on the critical minerals, and then they're enough to make a product out of it. Let's hear from Mr. Rajendra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Nishant, for giving me the lead on the funding as well as the challenges and the failure rates are very critical in a startup company. When we looking at startup, this is more we should be focusing towards Atmanirbhar and technology focused, which will really drive India and Indian economy and Indian technology in the forefront. So if we get into those kind of a mode, definitely the startups can get easily the funding from the relevant funding agencies, including government, as well as the sustainability and profitability will be, business continuity will be ensured. For example, we are into critical mineral segment, which we manufacture, neodymium, praseodymium metal, which is one of the rare earth which gets into permanent magnets in defense and automotive, windmill and other sectors. We identified this as a futuristic business direction, and we started working in the acquiring technology, understanding the market, the support system available, what kind of entry barrier, and who is dominating, in which geography is controlling this critical mineral. All those background information took us about 2 years in understanding. As early as in 2018, we started working on this, and in the pandemic during 2020-21 put us into a slowdown mode. However, we could able to establish our organization in November 2022. We acquired the land in March 2023, February 2023, and by end of the same year, 2023, November-December period, we have completed the construction, we have completed the equipment installation, we have completed the trials, and we have also taken out the pure metal in a period of 10 months. So in Japanese concept, what they will do is you need to sharpen the sword for 2 years before the battle. It should not be just before the battle starts. So we spent quite a lot of time, energy, and data collection, market study, everything for years. That's how the moment we formed our organization in November 22, by November 23, our product is out, the first phase of the product. Typically, the challenge what our Nishant has said is getting the funding for this. The moment we put up the project report to a venture capitalist in USA, they were very amenable to understand the criticality and the futuristic market in this critical minerals segment. And it is clearly dominated by one geography, which is a risk for many segments, including EVs, including windmills, and the electronics gadgets. All those segments will get impacted if that one geography puts any threat into the supply chain. That is the precise forecast or prediction which has come into reality during 2024-25 period. Globally, the rare earth supply has been stalled by that geography, and we all seen that the industry is suffering for want of rare earth material and rare earth magnets. So when our project report is very strong enough, and when our market niche-ness is proved, and if you are able to convince the investors, then the investment is not a challenge at all. In addition to that, venture capitalists and all, in India itself, we have a lot of funding options available, starting from Startup India, which they will give incubation funding, seed funding, and proving out the product and the trials. For all those things, we do have funding system available through Startup India. This can start from 20 lakhs grant and 50 lakhs equity or debt participation, and up to 2 crores of growth funding. And further to that, we also have funding options from Department of Science and Technology. It starts from Niti Prayas, which is grant up to 10 lakhs to build the prototype product, and it is also supporting through another scheme called Niti EIR, which is Entrepreneur in Residence. They give 30 to 35,000 rupees per month for the entrepreneur who wants to bring in a new initiative or innovative technology in India. So this through Technology Incubator Fund, they also give Niti Accelerator seed support in a triple S scheme. They give up to 1 crore rupee. Further, there is a biotechnology ignition called BIRAC system. There also they give up to 2 crore rupees funding for this kind of a startup. In an electrical and electronics and IT industry related to metallurgical development, whether it is semiconductor, battery, or critical minerals. Through MATI, again, there is a tide scheme which can give 4 to 7 lakhs and as a initial stage, and further they go up to 2 crore rupees funding. Further to that, we also have MSME incubation schemes, which gives grant up to 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs for the product development and design also. And there is also IPR scheme, which gives reimbursement for any patent which you are registering, for which 80% subsidy is being given. In addition to that, there is a technology demonstration funding by TIFAC, which is Technology Information Forecasting Assessment Council. They give quite a good support. And also CSIR labs through Center of Excellence, they can join with the incubation or the startup companies, co-develop the product. They support research and development and develop the new material, new product, new technology, new process, which is competitive across global. And if we are able to prove that project, the government of India can support initially 2 crores, and it can go as high as 200 crores through Department of Science and Technology and Technology Development Fund. That the only thing is it needs to support the Government of India's Atmanirbhar vision, as well as technology and innovation missions, and self-sufficiency should be proven through these projects. If these are all taken care, definitely there are people who, there are investors, whether it is Government of India or state governments, or there are private agencies. If you are still not able to get this kind of a grant or initial funding, then there are also equity funding and debt funding possible through funds of SIDBI, which supports any kind of innovation, technology, and startup. Also, Startup India Seed Fund is there. Then, credit guarantee scheme for startups that ensures that getting debt funding through any bank or financing institution, they will take guarantee. They give a collateral on behalf of the startup, and that gives very good support for any kind of founders and promoters of startup. As Entellus Industries, we have entered into this kind of arrangement through Government of India. When we found our organization in 2022, we started interacting with the Niti Aayog, we started interacting with BARC, we started interacting with all the IITs, CSIRs, DMRL, many laboratories to prove our vision or direction towards critical mineral is in the right direction. In 2022, nobody heard about what is a critical mineral or whether it is a neodymium, praseodymium. Nobody would have been aware in 2022 when we ventured into this kind of a project. But all these national laboratories and the Government of India through Niti Aayog, DAE, and the Ministry of Heavy Industries, MATI, and Ministry of Mines, they all called us for stakeholder meetings, and they understood what the challenges we are facing. And when we are in the interaction, the challenge came in, the China has stopped supplying the critical minerals. That's when it became crucial that our early entry helped us to get into this kind of a market, and we are already having metal and alloy ready for commercial production, and we are moving forward towards magnet manufacturing. So the PLI scheme is also now announced by Ministry of Heavy Industry on 26th November, which will help any kind of shortcomings, technology infusion from overseas countries where the domination or entry barrier is created. This is helping us quite a lot, and we will be able to fulfill the Atmanirbhar mission of Government of India and the self-reliance mission, and we will be able to support Indian economy to grow in the faster rate. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rajendran. One thing what we could hear from the entrepreneurs is the concern for the funding, either through the VC or venture capitals, or through the equity or the loan, whatever it is. And Mr. Rajendran also listed out a lot of the supports what you get from the different government organizations. The one major thing, of course, the funding is the one. Without fund, you cannot move forward. But being a technocrat, I would feel that the most important thing is the technology or the field what we are foreseeing that is going to be the most important in the next 3 or 5 years kind of thing. Okay, I will start with Mr. Rajendran. Before that, I'll just comment that the technology he has used to produce the material is widely used in the production of aluminum, but other than that, I don't think any other metal industry has been using that solid electrolyte as in the commercial level to produce their alloys or metals. So there are a lot of research, and recently there are some US-based companies coming in for production of iron from that. So I would ask all the entrepreneurs, like what prompted them to select the technology? I'll start with Mr. Rajendran.
See, neodymium metal is a process of reduction, and it's a purification of oxide to metal. Globally, there are proven methodology called calcination process, which is outdated now, and molten salt electrolysis is the dominant technology across China, and this gives because of the electrolysis process, it helps in only extracting the pure metal to go and deposit on the cathode, which is extracted out of collection after it's getting collected. So this technology is, of course, it's more than 4 to 5 decades old, but for rare earth extraction, rare earth oxide to metal conversion, this is the dominant technology across the globe. And this is also, when compared to calciothermic reduction process, this process is bit cost optimistic when compared to calciothermic. So the molten salt electrolysis is the process which is restricted by the dominant geography. Though these were available in early days, the nuances of controlling the process parameter, the equipment design features, the efficiency factors are all very, very crucial, which is not available today outside China. We had fortunate enough, our co-founders have worked in this for more than 2 decades in this field, in this segment. So we could have access to this technology, equipment manufacturing, design features and all. And with co-working with our Indian laboratories, what we did is we have imported some spares and parts of the equipment from dominant country and Southeast Asian countries, and we built our own equipment. Subsequently, we have indigenized this molten salt electrolysis equipment itself, and we are now capable of fully making this equipment in India within our own resources, within our own design features and capability. In fact, we have optimized the equipment design features such that we are at par with the dominant country, and our production efficiencies are already at par proven. And because of this dominance, or our proving our capability and capacity, the US giant mining company is already have entered into a discussion with us for their mass manufacturing for their requirements. And we are also in discussion with other global giants for their requirements, production, and including the equipment supply. That's the kind of advantage we have for this critical segment as an early entrant and proving our technology. Today, this technology is also banned. Technology, equipment, spares, even the skilled people export is banned by China, and this is becoming a crucial for rest of the nations to acquire this. Whereas in India, we are already, I'm proud to say that we have this technology and capability.
Thank you, Mr. Rajendran. Then I will ask Dr. Vishal.
Thank you. I'll take it forward from the previous question that you had asked to the others about the funding. And you very kindly listed a large number of opportunities for funding, which are there, not to deny that. But when we come to the deep tech funding, the amount of funding that we've been mentioning about is very, very limited, very less. And also, we are in institutes of eminence like IITs and CSR labs, but there are many brilliant brains out there in India who don't have the privilege of getting access to those labs. So enabling an ecosystem which allows younger entrepreneurs to get onto those facilities first. Second, to take risk with that kind of appetite needs far bigger investments. So I must appreciate the government, whatever initiatives have come up, but I also feel that there are far more solutions exist, but in the want of money that they're not able to venture out much more when it comes to deep tech. So the opportunities to fail should be much more, and those are the learnings that we need to translate. Much higher values of funding, and that's what we see in other countries that's there. In fact, our technology garners a lot of interest from outside of India than within India. However, we decided that if we are selling it out of India right away, then it's critical to get it back to India. So we kind of retain, and you have a constrained growth that way. But we have a different vision that I must acknowledge there. Coming to our technology specifically and why we had to venture into a startup comes to the experience of setting up India's first carbon capture plant for NTPC in Vindhyachal. As a professor in charge, I was PR of the project, and we partnered with an industry, and this is set up and it captures a very small amount, 20 tons of carbon dioxide on a daily basis. In fact, Tata Steel also has a similar technology of amine-based capture. Now, after we have gotten the pure carbon dioxide, we know the pure CO2 is a non-reactive, very stable molecule, highly oxidized form of carbon. It does not change form into other forms readily, and that's why its residence time in the air is so high, and it causes this whole problem. So to activate that carbon dioxide and give a product is also a big challenge. Typically, there is a want of hydrogen to make any product like methanol, ethanol, and so on, which also constrains the conversion of captured carbon dioxide to a useful product. So therefore, we thought that we should look at technologies where we can have a low-cost solution. Not low cost is not just for capture, but also conversion included. If you also look at these plants, which are 5 and 20 tons per day, this space footprint is very high. The scrubbing columns are as high as 25 to 35 meters high. So when we talk about a steel company which manufactures 10 million tons of steel, roughly emits 24 million to 25 million tons of carbon dioxide annually. And if we were to set up a few, let's say even a million ton of CO2 being captured annually, we don't have enough space there to retrofit the existing facilities. So we came up with a solution where we got inspired by biology. How we say that when we inhale, we are inhaling air which is 0.04%, but when we exhale, that's roughly up to 4%. That means our body knows how to convert this very low concentration by 2 orders of magnitude into high concentration. This is happening in the blood. And we have an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase, which actually does this reversible bidirectional reaction in the body. So taking inspiration from that enzyme, Professor Arnav Datta and myself, we invented and patented a catalyst which essentially converts millions of molecules of carbon dioxide into carbonate and bicarbonate ions in a water medium. Now, what is the scarcity in India? We are not very privileged that way. Going forward, it's a major challenge for this commodity. So we looked at a lot of wastewater in the industry, which is also available. All these steel plants have a lot of wastewater, boiler reject water. We have seawater. We are a peninsular country. We have a lot of seawater available. This catalyst just gets dissolved in the seawater or wastewater. We allow the flue gas from these emissions to pass through it. And as this gas passes, nitrogen is allowed to go out. CO2 converts into carbonate and bicarbonate ions, and it is readily available for any product that we want to make out of it. The easiest thing is to extract, let's say, calcium from a steel slag or any other source of calcium, convert that to calcium carbonate. This calcium carbonate can be fixed into a building material, and so this carbon dioxide is permanently removed from the system and not gone into the atmosphere. We can also use it for other purposes like paint, pulp, paper industries, and so on. And also the toothpaste that we use has a lot of calcium carbonate. The medicine that we have a base of calcium carbonate. So it can be used for different purposes. India still imports roughly 25% of PCCs, so we can also substitute that with the quality that is there. Secondly, it's capture plus conversion in less than 25 to 30% of the spatial footprint on ground and less than half of the footprint in the vertical direction. So we are saving a lot of things that is there. Also, the chemicals are totally easy to be used and handled. So there's not a lot of hazardous chemicals being released in the process. So we see it as a completely sustainable process. The final thing is that the life cycle emission is very, very important. So how much CO2 did we actually emit in the process of doing all of this? We realized that our process actually only emits roughly 0.2 to 0.25 tons of carbon dioxide for each ton of carbon dioxide capture, compared to most of the processes where the value is much higher. So when we look at it all holistically, this solution becomes very important. Now, fortunately, we incubated very young to 2023, we incubated. We are receiving a lot of support from the industries, from steel, cement, power, petrochemicals. Already we have orders for different levels of studies to deployment of pilot plants. So I must thank the industry for coming forward with novel indigenous technologies that support is needed. But I must also say that we are a little fortunate ones being in the premier positions. A lot more investment and funding is needed when it comes to deep tech so that we can try out these pilot plants. And of course, the ones who is funding can become the primary beneficiaries of the technologies. But this technology has to serve the entire world, so to say. And India, at least India can think of leadership in these areas where the world itself is grappling with solutions that needs to be scaled up. Thank you.
Your comment, please, Dr. Shah.
So when, I think it was around 2018-19, so when we wanted to work on advanced battery technologies backed up by the new age cell chemistries, then again supported by the 6th gen, 7th gen power electronics, communication, data, AI. So this was the kind of imagination or the dream concept we had in 2018. But I'll explain in a couple of minutes what was the motivation. Because for any entrepreneur or any scientist, I would say motivation forms the instinct actually. The motivation for us, for me, was when we wanted to build advanced energy storage systems, be it for the storage batteries or the electric vehicles. One thing I imagined was 30 years back, if there was a power cut for 1 hour, what we used to do. The reactions were not at all emotional. Maybe 1 hour power cut was not a big deal, maybe 30 years back. Even 10 years back, 15 years back, when I used to watch a cricket in home, so I hail from a small town actually. Few hours power cut, we used to get disappointed, but we were not cribbing. But in the current age of times, even if there is a power cut, for seconds, or even for a millisecond actually, I'm not talking from a supercomputers, data centers or critical industry operations. I'm just talking from a layman who is living in a village in India. Is he going to accept? No. And how this is going to improve the lifestyle, economies, and the way people live actually. So that is what we fundamentally imagine, the large scale problem, how the power infrastructure is is very, very complex in India, right of way, the cables, the transformers. So first we imagine where is the need, where is a large need, not from a grid scale perspective, even from a home commercial kind of thing. And that is what motivated us to build the cutting edge technology. So why we need high energy density chemistries, fast discharge, fast charge, anodes, cathodes, because you really don't want to have that split of millisecond kind of kind of switch over times actually. Why do you need very advanced level of communications, photonic based, silicon based or germanium based, kind of advanced power electronics? Because the battery has to be perfectly married to your power electronics to deliver the output. Because from a consumer angle, it's not about the battery or it's not about the inverter, power electronics. It's not about how great is your technology. From the user perspective, today, we are sitting in this conference room, we are all users actually. So definitely we can't afford to have even a second kind of power cut here. So this is how the motivation really became the driving force. And I would believe in every entrepreneur's journey, the cutting edge technologies are born out of those kind of real motivations to solve the large scale problems, right from which are beginning from common man to the businesses, commercial to the large entities actually. And that is how we started investing our time, blood, money, fundraise, everything, whatever the $20-30 million we have raised so far in the short span of time. Everything, lot has gone into these kind of 3-4 fulcrums of different technologies, what I've spoken actually. And we started with initially with a basic prototyping, R&D, basic assembly processes. Then we have gone deeper and deeper. And one thing we have understood is when we have gone deeper and deeper, the level of finesse actually, like, because see, coming from TRL 1 to 5, 6, 7, 8 is fine actually. But the moment you cross 9, you want to sell your product, whether it is B2B or B2C, that is when the real challenge for your technology starts. Because everything you imagine, everything you have tested, certifications, and many times I'm not being over judgmental or over prejudicial here, many times the IP also, suddenly feels valueless, so the moment you start sales actually. So this is one advice I would suggest, so the too much analysis should not lead to paralysis, especially if you want to become an entrepreneur. If you are a scientist, maybe that could be fine actually. But one question always you have to answer yourself, when you really want to take this from TRL 1 to 10 and then actually take it to the market actually. And that is where the judgment of success versus failure will come, and taking the lessons from the failure of the technology. Because one thing we have to understand is we are not gods, we are all human beings. Failures can happen, but how quickly you learn, how quickly you adapt, and what is happening in the market and what went wrong, and coming up with the backup plans in terms of the technology, R&D, engineering, supply chain, production process, taking it to the market actually, and pricing it. So this is all part of the technology story. So even rightly pricing is also has to become the part of your scientific investigations technology story, because there is no meaning to any technology or any product if it is not solving the larger lives of the problems. It could be common man or industries. So I'm not saying India as a country, anyway it's moved on. One thing as an entrepreneur also I have experienced, India is already encouraging value for money products. So there is nothing cheaper kind of economics is not playing any role that is negligible. But one thing, as always, as a technology, whether it is premium technology or non-premium technology, you need to really price it actually. That is, as an entrepreneur also, you have to really judge yourself. What is this really technology worth in the market? And the future plans also, as I mentioned, if you are working in anything in the technology and material science segment, having a 10 years kind of plan is very, very critical. I'm not talking about from funding and investment and all, even from an emotional, psychological perspective. One thing you have to imagine, you're really going to give your 10 years of all, whatever life you have for this technology or the entrepreneur. And so that decision is very, very critical for any upcoming scientist who wants to become an entrepreneur. I mean, this is the most important decision people have to make, that, emotionally and psychologically, they have to be stably glued to the mission or the whatever the work they have chosen actually. And so as I say, get your motivations right actually, get your psychological things very much right, and then you have to go deeper. There is no option left. And the way I have mentioned the examples, why we have gone deeper into the chemistries, why we have gone deeper into the power electronics, why we have introduced cloud AI, predictive AI into our products actually, everything was linked to a motivation. Yes, as a technology, as a scientist, I might have some kind of pessimism or optimism on certain things actually. But once your motivations are clear, your instincts are made, your efforts are in the right direction actually, you have the right supporting team members and the funding, and things will get aligned. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Nishant has clearly said that perseverance is most important when it comes to the success of the startup. Still, I keep it to the technology point. Like you see that all three startups are currently working on the technology or the material or the field which is of relevance or more important for now and for the future. Now I would ask Dr. Mishra as his comment, and how important the technology is to drive the startup in the country.
So I'm reminded of, there's a book written by one of the MIT professors, Bill Ollett. It's on 24 steps to entrepreneurship. And there's one specific mantra in his book, which is saying, innovation is the product of invention and commercialization. So if you do some invention and you don't commercialize, there's no value. And if you know how to commercialize, but there's no innovation, there's no invention, then also it's meaningless. So it has to be a sum total or a product of both for any technology to succeed. There was a lot of illustration by a co-panelist on funding. There's a lot of funding which is available. What we are lacking is the ideas per se, the breakthrough ideas, first in the world type of ideas. So why are many of the startups successful if we look outside the domestic ecosystem? Because they have a broader base of ideas. We are looking at a TRL is like a pyramid in some sense. You start with multiple ideas at the TRL1 level, only few bubble up to the top at TRL8 or 9. So depending on how broad your pyramid base is, more and more will bubble up to the top. And these ideas have to be relevant. There has to be some taker, because once you go to that commercialization step, there better be some takers who are willing to pay for your invention. Otherwise, it's something only for academic interest and you feel contented by having few patents in your name, and there's something for a technical legacy. But for industry to imbibe into your innovation, it has to be relevant. And it's also I would say the responsibility of the innovators to prove sometimes to the industry that this is going to be important for you later on. And as you said, scale. So I'll say it's not only scale, but scalability. So TRL 2, 3, 4, 5, fine. And as I said earlier in my opening comments, we look at TRL 9. So how are we jumping that valley of death? That's where scalability from mid TRL to high TRL. That's where most of the the enterprises, they actually fail, because they are looking at very ideal situations when you do things in lab or even in pilot. We are not looking at the complexities of everyday life in industry. So scalability is one thing, and then scale comes after that. For an industry like steel or cement or one of these big power guzzlers, we are looking at scale. If you have to abate CO2, it's not in kilograms or even in tons, it's millions of tons. So the technology has to be capable and mature enough that it can handle such huge scale. So those are the comments I would like to make on.
Thank you. To summarize our panelists, we could see that the technology is most important, and also the funding part. And like you said, that if you want to move from a lower to a TRL from 5 to 6 to 9, more than the technology, more than the funding part, the perseverance, like Dr. Nishant said, that to push it to a level where it is really commercially operational and can be scaled up. But the businesses always talk about, when you talk about the investment, they always talk about the return on investment. But most of the businesses now they have their own venture capitalists. They select the technologies, the startup, they support the startups which they feel that they can be supporting their operations. For example, the steel plants, some of them startups which work on the carbon capture are supported by the venture capitals, which are backed by the steel industries and cement industries. So there is a good ecology developing in the country. And only thing is that the development has to happen at the faster pace. We cannot relax on. Otherwise, again, we'll be going into the catching up mode with the rest of the countries. Thank you all. Bye-bye. Yeah, please.
Thank you. I think I just wanted to resonate further and just add that you're very right. The gap is not just funding, but also the intent. The intent includes scalability, but also the belief. Why this sounds philosophical, but it's important, because many times startup founders, when they come up with an idea, they say this is how it has to be done. The person on the other side of the table has not seen it, experienced it, and has some outright rejection to the ideas that may be challenge their current thought process. But at the same time, when there's a policy, something like CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, where we are facing that India's steel sector particularly emits more carbon dioxide than otherwise. Cement sector is a little different from that point. Then it comes that when we want to export our products, we are not green enough to export our product. So policies sometimes drive. Policies from the government Indian side, but also the frameworks from outside, which is also driving. So there can be internal motivation and external motivation. So both the reasons have to be seen as a whole. But I also think that the good thing that researchers have is a bit of a time. Researchers have sometimes to think, and but the industries cannot work on the firefighting mode to solve their problems, which they know that it's going to come. So there has to be a synergy between that, is what I strongly feel. The final comment which I want to share from my own experience, when we founded Urja Novak, people said that India will never work on direct air capture and things, massive comments. But I must announce today that Urjanova got its first order pre-purchase agreement for sale of direct air capture carbon credits at a way high value that India could even imagine to a country, to European countries. That means that we will be removing CO2 from the air, but helping industries outside of India to offset their carbon dioxide emission. Because simply, if I were to remove one ton of carbon dioxide, I need 47 trees to be planted to remove on an annual basis, full grown. But in my plant, I can capture on a single day in a space footprint less than this stage itself. This is the power of innovation. And that innovation support is, without that innovation support, it would have still been a Beaker experiment and a patent for Arnav and myself. But we took a step ahead and we got the support and believe that we could do that from India rather than waiting for somebody else to come and give a solution that India would need. So that's a mindset thing also needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vishal, for that. I thank all my panelists for a very engaging discussion. Hope we take it forward later. Thank you all. Yeah, if there are any questions or comments from the audience, we are happy to take.
Yeah, two set of questions. One is on the common ground and one is specifically to Entellus. Generally, what would be the mindset of a startup entrepreneur? Like, you will be knowing that you will be ending up with a product which is already having a market potential and there would be few competitors already in the market. So you are developing a product from either of a waste or a byproduct of any industry, and you try to convert it into a product already known properties and known value chain as well as price. So how would you define your boundary conditions? At what point you want to end your research, or how would you increase your supply chain or tell the product? Can you answer any one of?
Yeah. I just take first, maybe because my was passed on to me. The market needs to have a demand for the product. Otherwise, if you make something which nobody wants to buy, there's no point in making that in the first place. Secondly, when we make products out of waste, the pricing is little higher. We have other benefits of offsetting carbon, but there is a premium pricing that is involved. Again, if you look at India, we are not willing to pay premium prices because we are mostly working at very low prices, right? So that premium pricing, the gap still remains. So for that, for technologies which are novel, like for EV, we have Maha EV mission. For CCUS, they're coming up with the CCUS mission. The idea is, can we give the viability gap funding for the companies to operate at a decent scale, so that is demonstratable, or upfront capex support for setting up the plant, and the OPEX can be taken care of. So these are the, again, other supports that we need to have. End of the day, the product should be useful, find usage somewhere. The CAGR, if it is, let's say, 5, 6, it's very attractive even for these some waste to wealth kind of situation also. So all these, as I think you mentioned about innovation is invention plus commercialization. If there's no commercial angle to it or commercialization potential, invention is still an invention, but it is not an innovation which translates in the market. So that research study also has to be a part of the research of the scientific team that is there. So for instance, we have a very strong market research team. We do analyze what are the products, what is at current rate. Let's say I'm saying if somebody is capturing CO2 and marrying it with hydrogen to produce methanol, versus can we do an electrocatalytic process of our own carbonated water? We have patents for that as well. But that's at TRL 3 and 4. With other industries, we are doing it to TRL 6 and 7. So what is the cost of that methanol coming from this carbonated water rather than CO2 plus hydrogen? LCA plus TA combined. We see that it's way cheaper. It's 20% only extra cost than the methanol that is currently being given. That is a promise that industry would like to come and invest. But if it is 10x cost that currently, nobody will give that. So that's the commercial aspect that we look into.
Yeah, thank you. That answered my query. My specific question to Entellus, sir, you spoke about having this ND and praseodymium material. So your boundary limit is still making this alloy, and you will be waiting for another startup in India or anyone to make the magnets, or you're also into the magnet making totally?
Currently, we are restricting ourselves with the NdFeB alloy. And we are currently working also on making magnets by ourselves. And there are so many magnet manufacturers. If you look at the ND metal manufacturing and NdFeB, please be seated. When you look at ND metal manufacturing or NdFeB alloy manufacturing, both are 95% manufactured in one geography, which we all know. Whereas when it comes to the pure technology or pure, the secret lies in this NDFEB alloy manufacturing. Once the alloy is manufactured, you can make thousands of varieties of grades of magnet. That is purely a powder metallurgy sintering process. After that, slicing, machining, grinding, finishing, and electroplating for corrosion prevention.
I think we have in India this already. People are
there are
importing
many,
and doing this probably.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are many Japanese companies are dominant in the magnet industry. So people typically look for, even Indian OEMs or global OEMs, they typically look for Japanese, technology or, equivalent of Japanese technology grade of magnets. We do have a similar technology available, and we are also working with some of the giants in that dominant magnet manufacturing geography, as well as other, large OEMs who wants to work with us to co-develop the product. So that's our strategy.
Thank you very much.
Any? Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for a lot of points that I learned. I myself have a startup along with 2 companies. I am from Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore. You know that India is foraying into hydrogen storage and transportation. So we've got a startup now to make hydrogen bottles and hydrogen containers and cylinders in the Type 4 composite category with liners. And we already got our first baby out. And with great difficulty, I will also share some experience. With great difficulty, we could bring the cost down. If you import a hydrogen carbon filament bound bottle with a 3-liter capacity from the United States, that will be $3,500 plus, you know what, import component and then tax and then all that. But we could bring down here to a cost of, say, about, for the first baby, it was about $3,000, all inclusive. And we just made it. The whole problem was not to find the liner material or getting filament bound thing done, but getting the right regulator and sensor for hydrogen. We have to bring down 350 bars or 750 bars of pressure into 1 bar in a short thing. And nobody makes hydrogen regulators and sensors in India, which have to be compulsorily made of high quality stainless steel. They are very different from oxygen regulators or, say, carbon dioxide regulators. So this is where we suffered a lot, because each small regulator of hydrogen with stainless steel comes at a cost of 1.5 lakhs. That's the major portion, and then this is an open challenge to everybody. If somebody can make the stainless steel hydrogen regulators in India, I think it's a kill. Right now, we are forced to import it. Now, do you have any ideas on cost cutting in such startup ventures that rely partly on domestic talent and resources and partly on imported stuff, where we have to match make also? I mean, this is my request.
Dr. Mishra, you would like to take?
Thanks for sharing your experience. Greatly appreciate. So, see, rather than answering because I think challenge should be accepted by some other entrepreneur, because I'm already hooked to my own marriage, like, pure energy. But I'll put it in a right context here. See, this is where the difference of a businessman and entrepreneur lies actually. So entrepreneur is always about, like, giving that path-breaking solutions, like, which are not available. See, for example, I can give a correlated kind of example, not the similar one, what every entrepreneur faces, like, you're finally building a product for some end consumer and you have a missing link actually. And this is, as an entrepreneur, the call, it's all about the instinctual call and personal call, like, whether you still want to develop indigenously, in-house, you want to get into it, or you want to throw this problem statement to your suppliers domestically, or you want to build the missing link through an import and wait for the time to get it localized or build it in-house and still sell the product. So this is a call as an entrepreneur you have to take actually, because ultimately this is your passion. When you want to launch the product, and by the way, the timing of the launch of the product is also very, very critical. Because entrepreneurship is always many times about both positives and negatives, is all about accidents, that you delayed your product launch actually, and product launch actually gives you not just of the confidence and all, it gives you a market. Early market access, early mover advantage is always a great thing to have actually. But if it is about just one missing link, this has to be a personal call. Either you want to wait for a few years to build it completely, or you want to throw this as a problem statement to the supply chain domestically, or still you want to import it, that missing link, and start launching the product.
I think if we do not submit to importing now, we lose the race, because there are already half a dozen startups and companies looking at composite storage vessels for CNG, oxygen, and some have already forayed into hydrogen. And as there are exquisite polymers and then composites that are not sensitive like metals to hydrogen, with one non-permeable barrier in the inside of the liner, you can stop hydrogen from doing any mischief. That's the biggest advantage of going for type 4 or polymeric composite cylinders. So like that is, though that is the advantage.
If it meets your engineering, see basically as I said, when you are building a product, it's an emotion as an entrepreneur. So if it is filling in your emotion that, this is the product I actually want to give to my end customer, and if it is happening through some kind of few components import, definitely as an entrepreneur, you have to move ahead, launch the product. If it is meeting your engineering, technical, mainly the quality standards actually. But ultimately, see, as an entrepreneur, you sell an emotion actually. You say that, this is a problem I'm solving, which is not being solved by somebody else.
Yeah, we are able to cut the cost in liners and windings, but as far as the regulator is concerned, I think to cut costs further, we may have to wait a bit.
So I don't know if I have a solution for you, and probably for these such of these situations, there's no single solution, there's no silver bullet.
Yes.
Probably have to go for a gamut of possibilities and see which one clicks. Just as an extension, we are also trying to develop steel which can prevent hydrogen permeation. So we developed API line pipe steel X65, which can take in hydrogen as a fluent or a carrier gas inside. So there we probably started from first principle. What is the basic metallurgy? What is the microstructure you want in such kind of steel so that hydrogen permeation is stopped, the embrittlement doesn't happen, you control the chemistry and therefore the properties and so on and so forth. Obviously, a lot of iterations are required for that.
Is it stainless or?
No, it's not stainless. So that could be one solution. Other is congratulations for developing type 4, because we also ventured into that. We went to something we call type 3.5. So not as advanced as 4, because obviously there are a lot of challenges with number of layers you have to put in. The coating can be another solution, where we try to create coatings which prevent that permeation. And the other option is obviously broad basing your problems to others, go for collaboration, wherein you talk to academia, where they start looking from first principle, or you touch base with other startups or other institutions of research, capability, who can give you some vision or some end of the tunnel kind of light. But unfortunately, there's no single solution to these situations.
It's flexible and modular, depending on the components. Yes, thank you so much.
I would like to add, if the solution is possible across this conversation, then we are not into a niche product. Probably I will suggest, alternate material. There are nanomaterials, composite materials, carbon composite materials, those kind of alternate materials you can try. Alternate technology you can try. Instead of this methodology, try for a different technology. Or alternate process, instead of forging, it can be a casting or different type of process. Or alternate specification. Are you really requiring that kind of a tight specification, or can you relax the specification which may reduce your cost? So like that, there are plenty of options available as an alternate, and that will help you to find a solution. Probably you need to have a more deep dive into this.
Yes.
For the paucity of the time, let's conclude here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just close to the end of the session. So if there are any other comments that we can always take it during the tea time. Okay. Thank you, my friend.
1 minute. Thank you, sir. Now I kindly request Dr. Sanak Mishra, sir, our former president, IIM, to come on dais to present the memento to our session chair, Dr. Manjini, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Manjini, sir, to present the mementos to our session panelists. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. One announcement. High tea is arranged outside LHC, and then valedictory session of IIM-ATM is at 4:15. Please be seated here in LH5. Valedictory session. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to be here all the way from South Africa. I will be the chairperson, I'm the chairperson for the organizing committee for the International Minerals Processing Congress, which will take place next year in the city of Cape Town from the 18th of October up to the 22nd of October. And I just wanted to give you a snippet of where we are now. We have received close to 850 abstracts, so it will be indeed a very good conference. The Cape Town International Convention Center is right in the city of Cape Town. It's a gateway to many touristic areas. And the technical program, so far we have papers from 46 countries, including India. And we would want to welcome you to Cape Town and forge strong collaborations. I have a very strong collaboration with people at IIT Hyderabad here, and we hope to forge many more collaborations with people in the audience, and you are welcome to come to Cape Town. Please, the registration is already open. You can register anytime for the early bird, and if you have trouble, my colleagues from this institution can put you in contact with me. I can arrange all the things that you may need to register. And if you require to start organizing a visa, immediately you register, there will be a letter for the visa to travel to South Africa. So we have arranged with the Ministry of Home Affairs so that they can make the visa arrangements easier for our colleagues who are coming for the IMPC. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to start the valedictory ceremony in a few more minutes. Thank you for your patience. Good evening, esteemed guests, dignitaries, faculty members, participants, and dear students. I, Dr. Rashmi Singh, faculty at the Liberal Arts Department of IIT Hyderabad, welcome you all to the valedictory ceremony of IIM-ATM 2025. I trust you all had a very productive and engaging discussions with the IIM fraternity. To begin with this special session, I humbly invite our distinguished dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais. First, I request Professor Suhash Ranjan Dey, Chairman, ATM 2025 Committee. Since he's not here, may I request Dr. SVS Narayan Murthy, Vice President IIM, and CMD Madhani to kindly join the dais. Now, may I request President IIM and Director of IIT Hyderabad, Professor B.S. Murthy, to kindly accompany the chief guest of the ceremony, Dr. Jaitirth R. Joshi, Director General, BrahMos DRDO, and CEO and MD, BrahMos Aerospace, to the dais. Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we now officially commence the valedictory session of IIM-ATM 2025. To begin with the proceedings, I request Professor Suhash Ranjan Dey, Chairman ATM, to kindly present He'll come. Okay, I'll request the second person, Dr. S.V.S. Narayan Murthy, for his address.
Chief guest of this function, the man behind BrahMos missile, which has performed flawlessly during Operation Sindoor, Dr. Jaitir Darjoshi. President IIM, Director IIT Hyderabad, Professor Murthy, and all the delegates, faculty members from across the nation, and especially students who are here. Good evening, all of you. I know that you are all waiting for the award ceremony, but before that, during the last 3 days, you would have attended many lectures, you would have come across many posters, you would have enjoyed good food, you would have enjoyed the ambience of this great campus, and I'm sure that you are taking very good memories with you. This is one of the best ATMs that has been conducted in my recent memory. So I can confidently feel that you have taken enough number of your selfies, photos with friends, and you would have enjoyed. That is part A. Other parties, people would have talked from this podium for the last 3 days. Continuously people were talking about Viksit Bharat, Atmanirbharta, all these terminologies you have told, you would have heard. But I want to emphasize a couple of points. Honorable Prime Minister has given very big targets. If you look at, for example, I am from, in my previous avatar, I was with the ISRO, and you could see that kind of targets that were given to ISRO, whether it is Bharatiya Antariksh Station or the moon landing, all these things are very ambitious projects. And even if you take atomic energy, the kind of 100 gigawatt of nuclear power by 2047, or other new targets like Bharatiya small reactor, all these things, very, or even defense, Sudarshan Chakra, these kind of targets, whatever were put by 2047, that is, we have still 22 years of time. Those students who are graduating probably, or those who are doing PhD, most of you would have been born around 2003, 2005, because you may be completing 21. So you have 22 years of time to achieve this. 25 we are in, 2047 we have to achieve this target, whatever was put. You are in the right spot. I can tell you that you are in the right spot to achieve the target, but the challenges are equally big. I want to tell, we may be proud on one side that yes, we are doing good work, that we must continue the positive attitude, but there are areas where we need to cope up, where we need to innovate. Morning also a couple of people have told innovation is important. I'll tell you one example. Sometimes it becomes very difficult, we don't have even pure iron. Pure iron of vacuum grade in this country we don't manufacture. Iron of purity may be less than 0.03 carbon, sulfur and phosphorus less than 0.005, and nitrogen less than 50. This is the kind of vacuum grade pure iron that is required for melting any of the special steels. Okay, the kind of steels that you are talking about, like for example, custom 465, or some of the PS steels, precipitation hardened grades like 13.8, 15.5, 17.4. If you want to melt, you need that kind of pure iron that is required. But we don't have. So I'm just giving you one example. While we can pat on our back that we have done a lot of good work, at the same time it is important to know that we are. And another thing, most of the materials that ingredients that go into the manufacture of superalloys, like for example 718, 617, 600, 625, whatever grades you talk, the input materials like pure nickel, pure cobalt, pure moly, tungsten, none of them are available within the country. We need to have those industries or those researchers who can really think of how to come out with technologies that can play a vital role in the establishment, so that we can have self-sufficiency in the, that is real Atmanirbharta. I mean, when I told We need to create such facilities where we can, from the ore, we can get these materials and become self-sufficient. One example I'll give you. A country like Japan, it doesn't have any mineral resources. You don't have any major mineral deposits except some hilly areas you have copper. But there is a company called Sumitomo Metals in Japan. For the last 60, 70 years, they have technologies for nickel and cobalt. They export to the world. They import the iron ore, they import the nickel ore from Indonesia, process it and sell the pure elements to everyone in the world. So we didn't have that kind of planning probably. We need to think right now because you are seeing people, you are seeing presidents of country who are negotiating for critical minerals. We are having difficulty in securing those critical minerals, for example, minerals for rare earths, minerals for these kind of elements. So it all shows that we need to have self-sufficiency in these materials. Recently, our vice premier of our neighboring country has visited and we have asked him fertilizers, tunnel boring machines and rare earth magnets. You can see what kind of things are being looked at. Okay, so unless we are self-sufficient, things are going to be more and more difficult in coming years. And this is a place you people are all in. We need to create, we need to innovate so that this country will become self-sufficient in every aspect. Wherever possible, we should fill the gaps and we should innovate and contribute. And you are in the right spot. Again, I am telling you, I wish all of you, those students particularly, who are looking for, maybe you would have put good posters and looking forward to see, look for the announcements. So all the very best. And already morning, probably, I don't know, it would have been announced. Next year, we are going to have our ATM in Jaipur. Probably we all will meet there again. And I'm sure all of you will be doing wonderful research. All the best to you. See you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your motivating address. Now that we have one of our dais member here, may I request Professor Suhash Ranjan Day, Chairman ATM, to kindly present a brief summary of IIM-ATM 2025.
Namaste. Good evening all, ladies and gentlemen. As we come to the close of 79th annual technical meeting of the Indian Institute of Metals held here at IIT Hyderabad, it is my privilege to reflect on the remarkable journey we have shared over the past 3 years. IIM-ATM 2025 has truly been an extraordinary gathering with over 1,700 delegates and nearly 500 oral presentations and are nearly 650 poster and metallographic presentations and 40 distinguished invited talks. This conference has brought together some of the finest minds from academia, industry, research laboratories, and international institutions. The overwhelming participation and quality of discussions have reaffirmed the strength and vibrancy of our metallurgical and materials community. Throughout this event, we have explored a diverse spectrum of themes from critical minerals and sustainable extraction to advanced materials, alloy development, additive manufacturing, and energy transition technologies. The scientific deliberations, interactive sessions, and collaborative dialogues have enriched all of us and opened new avenues for research and innovations. The CX2 industry session, the technical exhibition, and the metallurgy contest added great depth to the program, fostering industry academia partnerships and showcasing cutting-edge technologies and talent. The IIM Award ceremony was another highlight, celebrating excellence and inspiring our young researchers to strive for higher achievements. We are also delighted that this conference strengthened our global engagement through joint sessions with TMS USA. There were 2 joint sessions, one on high entropy alloy, another one on ICME, Integrated Computational Metals Engineering, and GIMM, 2 sessions on GIMM on advances in steels. reflecting India's growing leadership in material science and engineering. Beyond the technical sessions and the warm hospitality, cultural events, and the thoughtfully organized spouse program added a personal touch to the entire experience, making IIM-ATM not just a conference but a memorable celebration of knowledge and camaraderie. I also must tell you about the good number of bachelor students and diploma students where we held a session, joint interactive session with the past presidents. So there were around more than or nearly 100 students have joined in that session. That has also started a new direction, has given a new direction to the IIM. As we conclude, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to the organizers, the host institution, the volunteers, session chairs, exhibitors, sponsors, and every participant who contributed to the success of this event. Your dedication and enthusiasm have made this program truly impactful. Let us carry forward learnings, collaborations, and friendships formed here. May the spirit of innovation and the commitment to sustainable materials development continue to guide our future efforts. Also, I must thank all the awardees, the oral and the poster awardees whom we are going to announce soon, beforehand itself. I thank you all for your presence, your contributions, and your unwavering support. Wishing everybody a safe journey back and looking forward to meeting you again in the next IIM-ATM at Jaipur. Jai Hind, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the detailed summary. Next, I request Professor B.S. Murthy to kindly deliver the presidential address.
Good evening, friends. I now understand why the award ceremonies are always kept at the end. The hall is full. Amazing. This reminds me, about 6 months back, we had in this particular hall for one full week what we called it as a SPICMAC annual convention held. We had almost 20 Padma awardees, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, awardees coming onto the dais and performing, and the hall was always full. In fact, on one particular day, the program went from evening 8 o'clock to the next day morning 7:30. And the whole night we had 1,000 people in this hall. I was sitting the whole night. So this reminds me of that particular thing. And because of that, now IIT Hyderabad is setting up, next month we are going to announce, a Center for Creative Arts, which we strongly believe is important. I always tell to my colleagues, while engineering is all left brain activity, it's important to have right brain activity so that there is a balance in life. And that right brain activity also brings in a lot of intuition, and intuition is important for innovation. IIT Hyderabad, if you all, I do not know how many of you have seen our website. If you go to our website and see the first page, the page says what IITH stands for. We say we are for inventing and innovating in technology for humanity. So this is what IITH stands for all of us at IIT Hyderabad. So as a result, every undergraduate student at IIT Hyderabad, unless the student completes 10% of the total credits from liberal arts and creative arts, the student can't get a degree. So that is how we have ensured in the last 5 years there is enough of the right brain activity. Of course, last 3 days, it's all our left brain activities. We had one wonderful session. I think is Sairam there somewhere. So he was the one behind that, and we had a beautiful, a fusion of, percussion instruments on the same stage. So today, I don't want to talk much about anything else. I have been speaking a lot, but I want to use this occasion, I will not get it again, is to remember so many people who have been pillars for this particular IIM-ATM 2025. 1 year back exactly in Bangalore, almost similar time, in November we decided that we will do it here. And then immediately one person told me, I am there with you. And that gentleman is sitting here in front of us, Can you please stand up, sir, for a minute? Bhanushankar Rao garu. We all say he is the youngest of all of us. He is 75 years old. Okay? I mean, sir, only for women I can't reveal the age, but I think for men we can reveal the age. Okay? So, and he has enough energy to give all of us the energy that we all have. So that's one gentleman. The second gentleman is not here, Tata Narsingh Rao garu. Two big hands of mine who took the whole lead. Tata Narsingh Rao garu is currently the Vice Chancellor of SV University. He has very important meetings. As a result, he had to go. Last 2 days, he has been with us. And then we had one after the other, amazing people with us. I'll start with Sai Ram. Is Sai Ram here? Still working hard there. Okay, so that's how our people work. And then I wanted to take one more name, Jha sir. Please stand up, sir. He's the chairman of IIM Hyderabad chapter and the main convener and the chairperson for the whole thing. And thank you very much, sir. Thanks for being with us. Then we have our head of the department, Shashwata. Where are you? Please. He moved the whole department, the students, faculty, staff, everyone, to ensure that the whole department is with us. And so many meetings, weekly meetings we had. Thank you very much, Shashwata. Then we have, of course, the whole IIM headquarters with us. Arunji, where are you? Please stand up, if you don't mind. Many more from the headquarters, Atashi, Tomal, I forget your name. So the whole headquarters has been continuously with us, IIM headquarters. Thank you very much, all of you friends. And Somnath Goaji, possibly today he is not here. So that's another gentleman who is the honorary treasurer of IIM, has been taking care of all the things. Then we have, first day was a wonderful international conference. We have two people who took the whole load on their shoulders. One is sitting here, Pinaki, please, can you please stand up? And the other sitting here, Narsimha, one looking after the advanced materials, another looking after the critical minerals, brought 12 really amazing personalities in each of these sessions. I clearly told them in the beginning itself, half of them should be from outside and half of them should be from India. So 6 in the advanced materials session from India and abroad, and again 6 plus 6 from the critical minerals. Thank you very much, both of you friends. Then we have Suhas sitting here. How many sleepless nights, I do not know. Every one of these. Still, if you can see him, I think he needs a good 1 full day sleep. Maybe today night. So taking care of the whole ATM, possibly, please sit down, if you don't mind. We had 14 teams. For every team, we have more than one coordinator. We always say when 2 faculty members of IIT meet, okay, there are more than 100 ideas. So when 14 teams with at least minimum 2 each meeting, and for all of them, and this person trying to lead them is not an easy task. And everybody has their own idea, and bringing all of them together and creating a clear-cut path for the whole ATM has been a Herculean task. And thank you very much, Suhas, for all that. Ranjit has been a co-chair. Is Ranjit here? Thank you. Thank you, Ranjit. In spite of his slight difficulty with his health, he has given a lot of support to us. Thank you very much. Bharat, are you there? Okay. Bharat is another one of the main person to raising funds. Okay. And of course, a big team has worked on that front. And I hope, Bhanugaru, we are on comfortable stage, right? Okay, good. So we have been able to, one day we will tell you, Arunji, very soon, how much we could raise and things. So that's another very important area. Then Resource Mobilization, Partha, is he there, Partha? Okay, he has left. From DMRL, another very strong support to all of us. Then, two important areas, two important personalities helping us in public relations. One is Shaurya, please, and another is Vishwanath, okay? So you can see, two ends of a spectrum, very senior with a lot of wisdom, and the youngest guy in our team is Shaurya, helping us a lot. Then we have another very important task, putting everything together into the form of a souvenir. That is Ashok and Rajesh. Are they here? Ashok and Rajesh. So the souvenir which I am holding today in front of all of you has been put together by both of them. I know how many people they had to be behind getting the advertisements, getting all the abstracts, getting the messages from ministers. It's not an easy task. So putting all of them into the form of a book like this. Thank you very much, both of you friends. Then we have registration, amazing task. Mudrika, are you there? We are missing Mudrika here. Mudrika has done an amazing job. I heard more than 1,700 registration. I think possibly the largest among the IIM-ATMs so far, more than 1,700 registrations. And she has been able to handle no event manager, friends. It's all a battery of students that she had, and she was able to manage all that. I'm really grateful to Mudrika for all that. Then, if you had 3 days of wonderful food, we should thank two gentlemen sitting here, Gopi and Vishwanath. Can you please stand up? See? That tells us how important is food in our life, right? So, any conference has two important things. One, the food for your mind, the technical sessions. The second, the food for your stomach. So this one, I think Suhas and the team has given us good food for our brain. And I think Gopi and Vishwanath have given good food for all of us to be able to survive all the 3 days of, morning to evening sessions. Thank you very much. Then the next one, and the most crucial, picking up people and putting them in the right place, okay? And that's Mayur. Are you here? Mayur and Jay Gautam. Is Jay Gautam here? So one sitting on the campus, one sitting in University of Hyderabad, coordinating with each other. If you all been well placed in your accommodation and instructed properly to come to the campus, and some of the seniors being picked up and brought here, and it's all thanks to both of them. Thank you, Mayur. Thank you so much. And then the sessions. Okay, the most important thing is managing these halls. We have Atul and Anuj. Are they here? Thank you, Atul. Wonderful job. So 14 sessions managing, ensuring that everything goes well in each of session. And we had very tough time, airlines canceling their flights, delaying their flights. First of all, thanks to all of you friends. Somebody yesterday told me that he has been in the airport for 16 hours and still came here. Okay? So that is something I think we are really grateful to all of you. You have really, stood with all of us and ensured that we have a good conference, and we are really grateful to all of you. Then, metallography, Subhadeep, are you there? Thank you very much. About 150 metallography, entries, ensuring that all of them are properly done and evaluated. Very soon, you will have. Anybody else I am missing, Subhadeep? Koteshwar Rao. Koti, are you there? Thank you, Koti. Then poster session. Suresh sitting here, helping all of us. And is there anyone? Narsai Garu. Sorry, sir. So these are the two. 750 posters is what we have finally selected. I think close to about 600 posters were actually put. That's an amazing thing that we were able to conduct, and thanks to both of you. Okay? And then exhibition, Deepu, are you there? And then most important, the last and most important, Deepujan, is he there? No. Okay. The most important is two ladies who helped us with the spouses program. Are they here? Pavitra and Jhansi? Any one of them? Possibly they are still with spouses. I do not know whether the program is still going on. And I would like to place on record my thanks to both of them for amazing task. I think it appears that I have forgotten Chandrasekhar in the transportation. Is Chandrasekhar here? Sorry, bhai. Please forgive me. And one person who has not been listed here but has been doing a lot of sleepless nights and helping is Nagini, and she is still printing the certificates, I think. So thank you very much to all of you, friends. I'm really honored to have a battalion of young and energetic. Suresh Garlapati, one more I missed out. Please forgive me, friends. I'm growing older, possibly. And as all of you know, for a professor, one of the most important characteristics is being forgetful, right? So that's supposed to be one of the degrees that we should have. So please forgive me if I have forgotten any other names, but we have amazing team which has really stood with us and so many sleepless nights. It's not possible to organize a conference of this size. And for your information, friends, IIT Hyderabad, this is the first conference where we had anything beyond 500 participants we never organized at IIT Hyderabad. So this is the first time we crossed 1,500, went up to 1,700. I heard that yesterday in the gala dinner, 1,900 people ate. Okay? So that tells that we have touched close to 2,000 people. So thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. One name that you perhaps forgot was your own. Endless walks around the campus, making with me, endless walks around the campus to make sure that you all love our campus, full of beautiful flowers and greenery. And he was extremely excited to host you all. And I'm delighted to see how happy he is today for a successful event. Look.
She is not only our MC today, she is a faculty in charge of the greenery on the campus. Okay? If you are seeing beautiful campus with a lot of greenery, it is this Rashmi standing behind me. Thank you very much, Rashmi. And I would also like to thank the other two MCs, the two other faculty members, Sambika with us, Himabindu, both of them have been there with us, and thank you very much. Neha, of course. Neha is part of our family. Okay? Thank you very much, Neha.
Thank you, sir. It is now my privilege to invite our chief guest of the ceremony, Dr. Jaitirth R. Joshi, Director General of BrahMos DRDO and CEO and MD of BrahMos Aerospace, to address the gathering. Dr. Jaitirth Joshi is a senior... You don't want? Let me. Please. Everybody knows. Okay, let me just say 2-3 lines. Dr. Joshi is a senior Indian missile. Sir, my father is retired from DRDO. I'm delighted to read it. Scientist who has taken charge as the Director General, CEO, and the Managing Director of BrahMos. In his leadership role at BrahMos, Dr. Joshi oversees the design, development, strategic planning, and production of advanced tactical missile system. He also served as the chairman of Indian Society for Non-Destructive Testing, promoting skill development and strengthening links between academia, industry, and defense and R&D. He is, along with IIM fellow, he's a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering, and he's a recipient of SAIL Gold Medal for his outstanding research work in publishing transactions of IIM. I made it brief. Welcome.
Thank you for the brief and very long introduction. Dignitaries on the dais, Professor Murthy ji, Professor and Dr. Murthy, former presidents, Dr. Sanak Mishra, Dr. Jha, many of my colleagues, many of the professors, my professor at NIT, Dr. Narsaya, a lot of delegates, as told by Dr. Murthy, 2047, the future of the country who are there in large number in the age bracket of 20 to 25 or 30, and three young delegates I am seeing less than 10 years old. See, I generally in a conference we see spouse as a co-delegate, but here we are seeing three very young delegates doing some art or something. It's indeed my proud privilege to be amongst you and standing in front of you. Basically, this IIM annual meet is a flagship event. It's a grand festival wherein all the metallurgical and material science community meet. Generally, IIM festival is in the month of November and followed by ISNT festival, non-destructive testing festival, in the month of December. Last few decades this is happening, and it brings together the experts from the academia, research like DRDO, ISRO, atomic energy, space, and the industry at large. We have seen today, I was there in the exhibition, a lot of industry, steel making people, everybody is participating. Everyone who gets excited about alloys, microstructures, and even occasional phase diagrams. In fact, I am very happy, as told by Professor Murthy, the scale at which it is operated. Generally, academic institutions, as he has rightly told, 400, 500 is a very big figure, and we are seeing 1700 plus is one of the remarkable thing. I want a standing ovation to be given to Professor B.S. Murthy. In fact, with so many metallurgists gathering here in one place, even the Wi-Fi signals must have felt the pressure to perform better. Heartiest congratulations to all the winners, whom they will be announcing in due course of time, for the oral and the poster presentations. Your efforts and enthusiasm have made this event richer. However, I am very happy in many of the events in the valedictory chief guest will be astonished to see very few gathering. I am very happy that here the hall is full and every one of you are there till the end of the session, till the end of the thing. I express satisfaction full satisfaction at the way it is organized, the way it has been done. The IIM team from the headquarters Calcutta and the local chapter, and especially the entire IIT team who has slogged last 1 year, the way they were pushing. The youngest of the lot who was slogging is Professor Bhanushankar Rao. He was not leaving any stone unturned, so he was chasing the people. Basically, our theme, advanced materials and critical minerals for the energy transition, has been both timely and inspiring. Sessions covered the full spectrum, that's what I was told. In fact, as told by SVS Narayan Murthy, there were a lot of deliberations last 3 days between Indo-Russia about the materials, minerals and all. A lot of things have taken place. Yesterday night was also the last meeting which happened in Rashtrapati Bhavan, so that that's the whole reason I could not join. Today morning I came. A lot of things are happening. You, the back people, have to work extensively. Unfortunately, many places, the mechanical, the metallurgy, engineering colleges, they are closing these branches. And whoever is doing, it's not that you are doing, whoever is completing their graduation, either they are going into the bank or software, which definitely is not a good health. It's not a good sign for the country because after few years we don't have a metallurgist to extract the materials and a mechanical engineer to build the things and an electronics engineer to do the things if everybody goes into the software. I'm not telling that software is bad, but the core engineering also is important. The other day when I was inaugurating an IIW chapter at one of the colleges here, I was telling why we should not have a mechanism. I'll request B.S. Murthy Sahab also to have this type of engineering with this life certification of the the certificate of the engineering degree should be 5 or 10 years. If he shifts from the core engineering and goes into the bank or something, his certificate should not be valid and he should come back to the 12th class. This is a radical thing. To hold the engineers together, at least we should do it. Unless that is done, many of us will go. In fact, same is the case with me. Being a PhD in mechanical engineering, I have become a manager now. So you might have listened to this ICME, AI-enabled materials design. Everybody says, I want AI, machine learning and all. But if the core engineering things you don't feed into the system, where is the question of AI working? Everything is done by ChatGPT or AI, it is difficult. Now everybody is talking about green manufacturing, green power which is being generated, 5 megawatt power is being generated in IIT, green hydrogen, lot of green things are happening. So that you all people have to work in those lines. And even half of these ideas come to life, what has been deliberated out of this 1500, 1600, 1400 papers. Our energy transition may progress faster than our coffee breaks. From the technical organizing committee, I understand that the keynote and contributory presentation showcase the latest developments in the field. The technical sessions were comprehensive, covering structural, functional, and electronic materials, physical and mechanical metallurgy, processing, characterization, manufacturing, and performance evolution, all presented with depth and clarity. The discussions truly affect the sincere efforts of our community to advance material technologies in holistic view. So for any country's progress, we the engineers, the core engineers, mechanical, metallurgy, electronics guys are the brain behind that one, and we are the forefront runners, are the pillars for the country's economic growth. The materials play a very, very crucial role, as geographically we are placed in such a location, we don't have many of the minerals or materials. How to establish this materials and minerals initiative was taken few years back. Bhanu Shankar Rao ji and our Narayana Rao, everybody was involved in that one. Somehow we have to take it forward, how to go about for a short-term goals, medium-term goals and a long-term goals, and we should becoming Atmanirbhar Bharat is one important thing. Material self-sufficiency also plays a crucial role, and the manufacturing self-sufficiency also a crucial role to go to that 5 trillion economy. Unless we are into that league of self-sufficiency in every core engineering field, it will be very difficult. For us to grow rapidly and sustainably, we must adopt technologies that are energy efficient, space efficient, and less polluting. Stronger materials and cleaner systems are essential for India's future growth. Metallurgy and material science are fundamentally about process control. The better we understand the physics, the less corrective engineering we need later. And this is where strong academic support becomes crucial, which all the IITs and NITs are doing, and Professor B.S. Murthy is doing a yeoman service in materials and metallurgical engineering. There is a missing link. Component design, manufacturing processes and materials are all essential for building any system or product. Today, computational tools for design and manufacturing are highly advanced and used routinely. But the missing link is the material design, where we have to concentrate. Mainly because material behavior is complex and difficult to predict. You can make a bench type or a 500 grams, 1000 grams, the moment it comes to 10 tons or 20 tons, 100 tons, it becomes a totally different ball game. We now aim to design, tailor materials to meet systems requirement rather than designing systems around existing materials. Lightweighting, highly critical for aerospace, long storage, all the things are very, very important. Materials have become a true design variable in the development of engineering system. However, creating a new materials from concept to implementation still takes nearly 2 decades, with ICME coming into thing. it may come down drastically to 3 to 5 years, wherein all your expertise and young brains, innovative brains should put together and do that. Because we rely heavily on trial and error and empirical approaches. To shorten this long cycle, we must replace traditional empirical methods with scientific physics-based approaches. And as you are all aware, additive manufacturing is playing a very crucial role in the country's aerospace and defense application. We have started using, but we have a center, DRCOE center. Our Dr. Ram Guru is here, who is doing a good service together with IIT. We have to start doing major activities. We must ensure the availability for customized alloy powders that meet stringent specification and are scientifically optimized for different AM process. DMRL is doing, and I request Naran Murthy to start developing those material and giving in a large scale. I am confident that the deliberations at this event will greatly contribute to achieving self-reliance in materials and related technologies, supporting the government vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat in strategic sectors, and especially at all the sectors which India is trying to take a lead. We also hope that this conference will further strengthen the collaboration between industry and academia, bringing tangible benefits to the society, wherein this IIM, Indian Institute of Metal, is bridging the gap between bringing all the people on a single platform like industry, R&D, and academia. As we conclude, let us take back not only the knowledge, but also the spirit of collaboration we experienced here and the 3 days of sumptuous food provided by our friends, which we saw by the way the people have clapped. The food is extremely good. I also watched for that one. I had a lunch here. If we continue to work together, we can build a cleaner, greener, and technologically stronger India, atom by atom, grain by grain, and technology by technology. I am sure all of you had an intellectual, enriching experience at IIM-ATM 2025, along with refreshing break and gala dinner from your daily routine. We also hope this conference strengthens industry-academia collaboration and brings tangible benefit to the society. Thank you all, safe travel, and may your microstructure always be refined and your flights always be on time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very motivating address, especially for the students, highlighting the critical importance of core engineering and collaborations across industry and academia. We now move on to one of the most awaited session, the segment of the evening, the presentations of the best oral and poster presentation, along with the Metallography Awards. For this, I first invite Professor Subradeep Chatterjee, Professor at the Department of Material Science and Metallurgical Engineering, MSME, at IIT Hyderabad, to kindly announce the names of the awardees for Metallography Awards. Thank you.
So there are 6 awards. First one is in the optical microscopy, Ms. Sujata Panda, JSW. Not here. Okay. Okay. In the Okay, I invite Mr. A. Abdul Rahim for another award in the same category, optical microscopy, from Ashok Leyland Technical Center. Okay, next 3 year in the scanning electron microscopy category, Mr. Konda Babu Kodali from IIT Hyderabad. Continuing the scanning electron microscopy category, Mr. Vinay Jeru from University of Hyderabad. Mr. Subhendu Kumar Barik, IIT Madras, scanning electron microscopy. Okay. In the transmission electron microscopy and advanced characterization techniques, Mr. Vamsi Krishna Pakki from IIC Bangalore. Congratulations to all the winners and thank you.
Next, we'll announce the awards for best posters. I'll request all the awardees to enter the stage from this end and kindly exit from this end. For the announcement of the best posters, may I request Professor N. Narsiha from National Institute of Technology, Warangal, and Dr. Suresh from IIT Hyderabad to kindly join us on stage.
Yeah. Good evening, all of you. It was a very tough time for the evaluating all 500 posters. First of all, I would like to give thanks for all the judges taking the huge amount of time. And we have 37 prizes, best poster awards. And along also, we have the Euro 60 gift from the Springer Nature. So,
I'm delighted to tell you that Springer has come forward to give a book voucher, a gift voucher of 60 euros for every best poster and best oral awardees. Thank you. Thanks to Springer.
Yeah. There are 37 best poster awards from the different teams. From the Advanced Material Characterization AMC, G. Bharat Reddy from BRC Mumbai. Can I go on reading? Yeah. From the same AMC, Arka Jyoti Rai from IIT Hyderabad. from Advanced Structural Materials, ASM, we have Annada Shankar Adash from IIT Kharagpur. Kotla Sairam Gaud from IIT Hyderabad. Yeah. Next, T. Rajagopalachari from IIT Bhilai. Mohan Kumar N. from IIS Bangalore. Next. Next is Krishna Chaitanya from IIT Hyderabad. Next. Yeah. From extractive metallurgy, Ravindra Kumar from JSW Vijayanagar. Next. Savan Kumar Patra from Tata Steel Jamshedpur. Is there? Is not there? Anybody from Tata Steel? Okay. Next, Sahil Patel from JSW Dolvi. Are there? Nobody? Yeah, that is coming. Yeah. Next is materials recovery and recycling. Sai Praveen from Vidhani. Vidhani boss is there. Yeah. Next is Rohit Vinod K from Cement Hyderabad. Next, ICME, we have Gaisnilu Gangimai from IIT Hyderabad. Yeah. Puskarge Pandit from IIS Bangalore. From Startup Digitation and Industry 4.0, Santosh Parasuram Malhotra, JSW Ballari, and Shreyasi Das, Christ Bangalore. Santosh Parasuram from JSW Ballari, Shreyasi Das from Christ. He's asked. Who is that? Yeah. Praise? Please, please, please. Yeah. From Functional and Smart Materials, V. Uday Kumar from NIT Warangal, N. Sai Anurag from CMET Hyderabad. Materials for energy devices, Sweetie from Aizer Bhopal, Srinivas Abhiram Purapati IIT Hyderabad. From secondary materials processing, we have 7. Krishna Kumar Yadav, HBNI Mumbai. Madhumanti Bhattacharya, IIT, ISM Dhanbad. Akshay Kumar Chaturvedi, IIT Madras. Sarath Chandra Mohanty from IIT Hyderabad. Akansha Raut from IIT Kharagpur. Nandini K from JSW Ballari. Last, Siddhi Surbi from IIT Roorkee. Next, from materials for static sectors, Samyukta Gaddam from NFC Hyderabad, Siddhartha Jediwada from IIC Bangalore, from mineral processing, Santosh Dev Barma, IMT Bhubaneswar, IMT. Next, Kaligotla Krishna Sai from IG Karkalpakam. From physical and mechanical metallurgy, Banod Shivakumar from NIT Warangal, Subnit Kumar Rai from JSW Ballari, S. Paneer Selvi from IG Karkalpakam, from IG Karkalpakam. And yeah, and Darun Raghavanshi from PhD Tech, Coimbatore. The last, failure analysis and corrosion, Ramesh Mamidipaka, NIT Warangal. And Abhigna Kodam, IIT Delhi. Anybody from IIT Delhi? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Congratulations to all the awardees. It is indeed a pleasure to see many young female scientists also engaging in the field, and we are hopeful to witness many Dr. T.D. Mercy and Dr. Jayashree in the near future. Congratulations once again to all the awardees. Now, we move to the third section of the awards, and I request Professor Suhash Ranjan Dey to kindly announce the award for the best oral presentation.
Neha can come. I just forgot to mention one more thing, that the Springer Awards are also for metallography people. So all those 6 who have not yet taken the letter, maybe at the end of the event, please pick it up from us. Okay, there is a letter that we are giving you, which will have a procedure of how to download a book. Thank you very much.
Good evening all. The most awaited, I guess, the award. May I request the help of Dr. Pavitra to please help me out. Come here and help me out again. This is the last stage of our ATM. So we have chosen, there are 14 themes across all the various spectrum of material science and metallurgy engineering. And under these 14 themes, we have kind of had around 55 to 60 theme coordinators who have helped us to shortlist out of 1,420 submitted abstracts, 409 oral presentations they have shortlisted. So from this 409, many of them could not actually come because of the flight delays or flight cancellations, but still we could make them present through online Google Meet presentation mode. Yeah. So shall I tell them? Yeah. So 14 themes, different themes based on their submissions. We have given different that many numbers of awards. First, we start with alphabetically we are going. So AMC, Advanced Microstructural Characterization. So here all the awards are of equal category. It's not first prize or second prize. All are equal. So there are 2 prizes under Advanced Materials Characterization. Let's say number one is Preetham Banerjee, Postdoctoral Fellow, Technical University, Denmark. Okay. Second AMC goes to Mr. Hemant Kumar, ISC Bengaluru. The second theme is Advanced Structural Materials. There are 3 awards under this segment. Let's say the number 1 goes to Jandiala Nagalakshmi, Research Scholar from University of Hyderabad. Nagalakshmi, anybody from University of Hyderabad? Oh, Koti sir is there. The number 2 prize goes to Pankaj Kumar Ojha from IIT Hyderabad. The third prize goes to, it's not the third prize, the third in this segment goes to Alka Gupta from University Institute and Engineering Technology, CESJM, University Kanpur. Now the segment is extractive metallurgy. Here we have considered only iron and steel making under this segment, and the remaining themes, sub-themes, we have included them under mineral processing. So extractive metallurgy, iron and steel making, there are 2 awards. Number 1 goes to Kita Saito, Tohoku University, second year master student. Kita Saito. Anybody from Japan still remaining here? No? Fukada Sensei is there? Fukada Sensei? No? Okay. Second award of best oral presentation goes to Suraj, Tata Steel. Tata Steel, anybody? Suraj, for Suraj. Okay. Yeah. The next segment is physical and mechanical metallurgy. There were 2 awards under this segment. The first goes to Hani Gupta, PhD scholar, HBNI, Kanpur. No, sorry, HBNI Barg, BRNS. Anybody from HBNI? The second goes to second prize goes to Pawan AHB BHEL. Bhel. Anybody from Bhel? Okay, keep it, sir. The other theme is mineral recycling, recovery and recycling. Okay, the person is coming. Okay. The next segment is materials recovery and recycling. There is only 1 award under this segment. The award goes to, under materials recovery and recycling, goes to Nandita Das, Hindustan Zinc Limited. Nandita Das, Hindustan Zinc Limited. Anybody here? From? Okay. The next segment is materials for energy devices. There are 2 awards. The first goes to Nikita Lote from VNIT Nagpur. Delhi Peshwa sir is coming. And the second prize goes to Miss Ipsita Marathe, NIT in Raipur. She was here today with her mother. She is coming, right? Next is secondary materials processing. There are 4 awards. The number 1 award goes to Mr. Sahil Dhiman, IIT Hyderabad. The second goes to Mahati J, PhD Tech. Mahati J, PhD Tech. The third one goes to Bhavani Chalarapu, ARCI. And the fourth one goes to Johnny Varghese, Universitat Siegen, Germany. Mahati, Bhavani Chalarapu. Anybody from ARCI then? Yes. Koti, yes. Koti's Garu is there, Koteshwar Garu. Maybe university, because we have association with University of Siegen, so please come up on stage to collect the award. Oh, Koti student only. Okay, it is your student only. The next segment is failure analysis and corrosion. There are 2 awards. Yes, sir. Johnny Varghese. This one is Johnny Varghese now. The next award under the theme fracture analysis and corrosion. There are 2 awards. First one goes to Varsha Florist, Scientist ISRO. Varsha Florist. And second one goes to Kirti Pandey, École de Mines de Saint-Étienne, France. Kirti Pandey. Very nice. The next theme is mineral processing, and there are 2 awards. The number 1 award goes to, sorry for my, Vidyadhari, BRC. A. Vidyadhari. Achyutanna Vidyadhari. And the second prize goes to Gayatri D. Hajare, IIM-T Bhubaneswar. Gayatri Hajare. Congratulations. The next theme is materials for strategic sectors. There are 2 awards. The first one goes to Mr. Ankit Agarwal, NFC Hyderabad. NFC. Vishanaji, aye. And the second one goes to Shah Manan Haren from IIT-RAM, PhD scholar at IIT-RAM. The next segment is Startup and Industry 4.0. There is only 1 award, and this award goes to Prajwal Ajay Naidu, Tata Steel. Prajwal? Anybody from Tata Steel? The next segment is functional and smart materials. There is only 1 award, and that award goes to Shyamala Aditya Kumar Reddy, IIT Hyderabad. So 2 more themes are remaining. The next theme is archaeometallurgy. There were no posters in this section, but there were orals. And the award goes to Kaushik Dash, IIST Shivpur. The next theme and the last theme is ICME, Integrated Computational Materials Engineering. There are 2 awards. The first award goes to Chirantadeep Mahanta, ISC Bangalore. And the second one goes to Lopamudra Singh, IIT Bombay. Oh. He's in a hurry. Oh. Congratulations. Yes. So that's it from the oral segment.
Sir. Thank you very much, sir, and congratulations to all the awardees. Yeah. You all are requested to be seated in your places. Do not leave the hall until I ask you to. May I now request Professor Murthy to kindly present a memento to our chief guest of the evening. I now invite Dr. Shaurya Datta, faculty at the Department of MSME, IIT Hyderabad, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks, which will be followed by the national anthem.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this conference. On behalf of the Indian Institute of Metals and the organizing committee of IIM-ATM 2025, I would like to formally record our thanks as we conclude the 79th annual technical meeting. We extend our acknowledgement to our chief guest, Dr. Joshi, the Director General, BrahMos DRDO, and CEO and MD, BrahMos Aerospace, for his presence and for delivering the valedictory address. We express our thanks to the President of IIM, Professor B.S. Murthy, and the Vice President of IIM, Professor S.V.S. Narayana Murthy, for their guidance and address during the session. We also thank Professor Suhas Ranjan De, Chairman of the ATM conference, for presenting the summary and leading the technical program. Our appreciation greatly extends to Professor Bhanushankar Rao, the convener of the conference, and Professor Tata Rao, for coordinating, who was the co-convener for coordinating the activities and logistics over the last couple of months. Right, we have had immense number of meetings, perhaps some of them late night, to basically figure out what goes where and what do we do when. In addition, we had immense support from Komal Kapoorji from NFC, who is also the Vice President of IIM, Dr. S.K. Jha, the Chairman of IIM Hyderabad chapter, Professor Shashwata, who is the co-chair of the conference, for their inputs for organizing this conference. We congratulate all the awardees, the poster awardees, the oral awardees, and the metallography awardees. It was a great conference where we had a lot of different technical sessions and a lot of ideas being exchanged between the academia, the industry, and the R&D labs. We hope you had many stimulating discussions and talks which might lead to new research directions in the future. We place on record our thanks to the 54 sponsors that we had, representing various industries, labs, and other sponsors at various support levels, right? And we also had special support for events like the gala dinner, for the bags, pens, etc., and we acknowledge their support very deeply. We also acknowledge the support of the National Steering Committee, the National Organizing Committee, the Organizing Committee of all the conference committees that we had, and last but not the least, the support from the IIM headquarters, Brigadier Ganguly, Atashi, Tamal, and others who supported us as and when required. Our thanks also to the IIT Hyderabad administrative team, including but not limited to the academic team, the Green Office, where Rashmi is currently heading, the CMD team for doing all the help with the electrical and the civil works, the housekeeping team, the transport, security, and the wider IITH administration. We also recognize and appreciate the contributions of the ATM Technical Committee, headed by Professor Suhas and Professor Ranjit, the International Conference Committee, headed by Professor Pinaki, Professor Narsimha, and Professor Ashok, the Registration Committee, headed by Professor Mudrika and Dr. Varanasi, the Finances, headed by Dr. Sairam, the hospitality teams, headed by Dr. Mayur and Chandra, the venue management, where you had 14 parallel sessions running, done by Dr. Atul and Dr. Anuj, exhibition coordination by Dr. Suresh Garlapati and Dr. Deepu, and the food committee headed by Dr. Gopinath and Dr. Vishwanath, and last but not the least, the finance committee, the resource generation committee headed by Professor Bharat and Dr. Mudrika. The last one I missed, the poster committee, of course, headed by Dr. Suresh Perumal and Professor Narsaya. And in addition to all of this, we had immense support from student volunteers from various departments, from both IIT Hyderabad and University of Hyderabad, who helped us in organizing and taking care of the various parts of this conference. Additionally, we had support from Dr. Pavitra, who was on stage, Dr. Nagini, who is sitting here, Neha, who is also here, and Kalyani for taking care of the various aspects. Finally, to all the attendees, whether present on campus or presenting online, we thank you for your time, engagement, and continued support to the Indian Institute of Metals. With this, we formally close the valedictory session and the 79th Annual Technical Meeting of IIM-ATM 2025. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. I was about to request to rise on your respective places. You have already done that. So, yeah, national anthem.
Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravida, Uttara, Vanga, Vindhya, Himachal, Yamuna, Ganga, Uchchala, Jaladhi, Taranga. तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Jai Hind. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll request all the awardees to kindly come for a group picture. Thank you, everyone, for your presence and enthusiastic participation throughout the conference. Thank you.